to step on. Happy Fiverr Friday. It is, what day is today? December 4th, 2020. Wowzers, it's been a while. I didn't do a Fiverr Friday last week because of Thanksgiving break, but it is great to be back. It's been a while, right? It's been 2 weeks, so I'm happy to be coming live to you again. If you are new, welcome to the channel. Basically, on Fridays, we do this thing called Fiverr Friday where we get together. I give you a spiel about a topic that I'm thinking about on Fiverr, and then you ask questions, make comments, we strike up a conversation, and I do everything I can to help you grow your business. So welcome. You know, I wanted to talk to you about today the question I've been seeing a lot, and actually I've been actually getting this direct question a lot about Fiverr, is about how many people are on the platform. And the validity of Fiverr today, based on a year, 2 years, or 3 years ago, you always find this interesting. So basically the question is, hey, is Fiverr too overcrowded to make money? Is there just too many people on there? Is it too hard for me to get started on the platform or even grow my business now that there's so many people there? And, I think in voiceover alone, you have something like 21,000 gigs or so in voiceover. And, that's quite a bit, right? I mean, that's a lot. And, I know when I started 4 years ago, it's been about 3.5 years ago, three and 3/4. It was about 7,000. So you can see there's been a huge jump, right? I mean, it's tripled. And, I think it's a valid question. Is it overcrowded? Is there too many people there? Can I actually make money on Fiverr now with this many gigs? And, I get the question a lot. And also, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about, well, hey, I'm having a lot harder problem on Fiverr, but hey, Upwork has been going really well for me. Should I still worry about Fiverr? So that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. So, of course, my short answer is always going to be, yes, you can make money on Fiverr. Yes, it's still an amazing place to make money. Okay, absolutely. But the longer answer is that just like anything, when there is a small number of options, we tend to choose the best from what we have to choose from. Right? Clearly. And when there's a smaller number of options, there's not going to be as many great choices just because there's not a lot of people. But as the options grow, okay, then of course, there's going to be a lot more to choose from. And because there's a lot more to choose from, people are going to instinctively look for the very best they can, because we all want that. And I know that's like duh, but stick with me where I'm going with this. They're looking for the very best that they can. And what I see happening a lot of times is this, and you might have fallen into this, little trap yourself, because I know I have in the past, is that I'm so anxious to get myself going up on a platform, up on Fiverr, getting a gig up or something, that a lot of times I will overlook all of the important parts, or not important, but I will overlook maybe the smaller parts, or I won't fill out everything exactly as well as I could fill it out, right? It's maybe not as professional as I could make it, but I just want to get it up so that I can have something up there. And when you don't have a lot of competition, okay, that can possibly work. But as competition grows, you have to grow with it. As competition goes from C to B to A, you've got to go from C to B to A, meaning like you've got to bring your A game. So that's not just meaning that you've got to have a fantastic demo. When I first started, I literally for the longest, well, first off, when I first started, I didn't have a commercial gig because I didn't even have a commercial demo. I put something together, a couple character voices, spooky character voices, and I put that up there. And I was able to get work because at the time there wasn't really anybody doing Halloween stuff many years ago. But as time went on, I realized that, I had to I got up a commercial gig, and then I put up a gig of I put together a demo of a bunch of auditions I had done for Voice Bunny. And it had no music. It was just me putting together auditions I did. And I got some work, but I really didn't get that much, but I got some. Then I put up an audiobook gig, and that really grew my account in those first year or two. But then when I took seriously, putting together a demo that I could say I worked really hard on myself, or, you might pay someone, a professional, to help you with a demo or something. And I upped my game from the standpoint of I upped my game with not only my demo, but my pictures, my copy, filling out everything that I could, just diving into the platform and working as hard as I could to grow it and to be the best, adding extra things like adding PDF files, adding, things that showed people my process, just really diving into the process and trying to be the best. This is an important thing. Trying to be the best that I could be, right? But trying to really work hard and be the best on the platform as I could possibly be. My business exploded. It really grew. And where I'm going with this is that because of all these choices, the platform is crowded. It is not, there's a lot of people on the platform. But that doesn't mean you can't make money. What it means is that you've got to push your own boundaries to be as professional as possible. For example, you might be hesitating on changing your thumbnails because you just don't feel like it. What do I got to do? I got to hire a professional, or I got to do this, I got to do that. I don't want, to change, I could have better ones. But I mean, it's fine. I know I posted, wait, here we go. I think I have something for that. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. No more, that's good enough. I don't know if you guys remember that. I still have that on there. No more, that's good enough. It's my little post-it that I can pop up. I can make it go up and go away. There you go. I know I'm an idiot. But anyways, right? That's a good thing, right? No more, that's good enough. And if you think about that, that makes all the difference in the world to me. Because if we are just putting stuff out there that's good enough, okay, that it's never going to be great, and you need to be great in order to get a great business. This is interesting to me. I love the sayings where we talk about if you want to live like the 1%, then you got to work like the 1%. If you want to have a great business, all right, you have to work like a great business. You got to create a great business. Does that make sense? And I'm not trying to be like silly about it. I'm being honest. I mean, and I've worked with so many people, amazing voice actors who are working hard, but don't always push themselves as far as they could go. I'm not saying kill yourself with staying up, 28 hours out of a 24-hour day. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm saying that if you know that you could do better, then by God, do better. Right? If you know you can do better, do better. And we got to push ourselves. It's uncomfortable, right? There's a lot of uncomfortable stuff in our life. And a lot of times, we can preach that and we can feel hypocritical about it. I feel hypocritical about that too, because I know there's tons of stuff in my life I could do better. But I know in this one thing, we were talking about voiceover in this one business, if you push yourself to be the very best you can be and leave it all out on the table, your business and the business will follow you, right? But if it's just that's good enough, your business will be, well, that's just good enough. It's never going to be great. So I challenge you to look at and we're talking about Fiverr, but your whole business in general, but we're talking about Fiverr. I challenge you to look at it and say, is this the absolute best that I can do? The answer might be yes, in which case, great. But if the answer is, well, I could do better, then do better. I could have a better picture, get a better picture. I could probably write copy a little bit, write it better. My demo, I need a new demo. Get a new demo. For every answer that we're wondering, for every question that we have like that, could it be better? The answer is yes. Go, do it better. Put your heart and soul into it. I don't know how many of you guys are working a full-time job now and doing this part-time, or you do this full-time, or you worked your whole life or whatever. But if you were like me at all, I lived a good portion of my work life, my adult work life, going about 50%. Do you know what I'm saying? Like never giving everything to something. Like never putting every ounce of effort, my heart and soul and mind, everything into. Like we kind of just skate by, right? At least I was trying to skate by to get to the next thing because I never felt like I was somewhere that I needed to be, like I really was supposed to be. So I always was like, well, I'm just getting by because this is not really where I want to be. I don't know if you feel that way, but I know how many of us every single day put 100% of everything we have into something. Imagine if you did that. Imagine if you put 100% into this every single day. And I'm not talking about all day, like maybe for 2 or 3 hours a day, you put 100% of your mind, your soul, your effort, your thought into really growing this business, making it the very best it could be. Not good enough, but the best it could be. Imagine what it would become. Imagine what you would become. I lived my life before this business like that, half-assing it. Excuse my French. All right, but I did. I wasn't not successful, I suppose. I wasn't successful. I was a teacher, making a teacher income. So, a lot of you know my story. I was fine. I wasn't living on the side of the road, but, I was still living paycheck to paycheck. But, I was still half-assing it. Then it wasn't until I stopped half-assing it, especially with this business, that my life changed. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. When I first started the business, it actually wasn't hard for me because I was so tired of not doing more, right? I was so tired of not being successful or not being challenged. I was just exhausted by it internally, right? Half of me was dead because there was no challenge. Tomorrow was going to be the same as today. There was nothing going to be different, nothing that was going to make me grow as a person. But this business changed that. So, of course, I was fired up about it. And I think that was one of the greatest assets I had when I first started because I was willing to do work for next to nothing and kick my butt to get it as good as I could. And make my business as good as I could just because I was so excited that I could be successful at something and people would hire me. And when someone hired me, it was like jubilation, right? I was like jubilee. I was like, just so excited. So the point I'm trying to make with all of this is, and I would get back to Fiverr and kind of went off on a tangent there, but Fiverr is overcrowded. So what? So what? It's overcrowded, but it's not overcrowded to where you can't be the best that you can be and still make a heck of a lot of money on that platform. Because the best and the people who push themselves to be the best will always rise to the top. It's the people that say that that's good enough that wonder why they're not rising to the top. Okay? Be the best that you can be on Fiverr and everything in your business. Put your heart and soul into all of it, all the time. Don't half-ass it. If you half-ass it, your business will be half-ass. If you put in 100%, your business will operate at 100%. Can you get better even if you're putting at 100%? Absolutely, because you're going to grow and get better. But you get what I'm talking about. Don't overthink it. All right, so enough of that preaching towards you. Now's the time where I jump in, look at the comments and the questions. If you've got something, you've got a comment about what I spoke about, you got a question about your Fiverr business or voiceover in general, please feel free to post it. I'm going to go and start checking this out. Let's see, Miriam, what's up? Happy Friday, Miriam. It's great to have you. Chelsea, hello, Chelsea. Welcome. Let's see, this is a great topic. Thank you. Tom, hello. Jeremy, what's up, my man? Good to have you, Jeremy. JB Music, happy Friday. Now, is it Sherry or is it Cherie? I apologize, if I said it wrong, but happy Friday. Great to have you. Flyer here. I know that's Eric. What's up, my man? Good to have you. Chelsea, I now set my alarm for Fiverr Fridays every week. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Dana says happy Fiverr Friday. Happy Fiverr Friday, Dana. Famicom Mike. Hi, Anthony. Do we have Fiverr Elite tomorrow? Absolutely. So Mike's talking about, we have this wonderful group called Fiverr Elite. We meet Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern and Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern every week. And it's a group of like-minded people trying to grow their voiceover businesses. We have brand new Fiverr people to top-rated sellers, and we do acting coaching, we do gig reviews, we use analytics, we do other things besides just Fiverr, but it's basically meant to help all of us grow our Fiverr accounts, and we had some wonderful success. So if you're interested to join, actually, there'll be a link below, and you can also find it on aveosjourney.com. So that was my little... That was perfect lead into that, Mike. Timothy, what's up, Timothy? Good to see you. Daniel, was it Daniel? Yo, Anthony, happy Friday. Hello, happy Friday. Lazarus, what's up, Lazarus? Chelsea, yes, I remember your sticky note. That's right, yeah. Sean says, yo, Anthony, or yo, yeah, I can always definitely push a lot harder and do better. I have lazy days more often than I should. My goodness, we all do. I mean, okay. So we're still gonna have days where we feel lazy or we're tired or we need a break. Absolutely. And I just think that I got so tired 3-4 years ago of just half-assing it my whole life and wondering. I started to wonder, looking around at where I was, almost 40, and be like, what the heck? What have I actually accomplished? I thought, I wanted to do XYZ. And I was very happy. I love my family and everything. It's not what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be life-shattering, but it can be this thing inside us that feels like it's just, we could be more. I could be more. I could be more. And I wanted to be more. And this business has helped me do that. All right, Too Rich, Too Miss. What's up, man? What's good, everybody? Let's get the likes up. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, give it a like if you like my little preaching session. Thank you, my man. Miriam says the reality of where majority of us live. But let me tell you, I'm so over this stagnant state of mind. It's time for change. I'm ready to go to the next level. Awesome. Yeah, I is so tired it over years. Really, years of it. It just builds up inside of you, and it's almost like part of you. I mean, I don't be too crazy about it. Part of you dies because it's like, what? This is my life. It's never going to change, and I hate that. I hated feeling that, and it was bad. Let's see. Just what I needed to hear today. Thank you. And I guess Sherry or Sherry. Sorry, I'm gonna say Sherry. Sherry. Sorry, Sherry. I hope that's it. Let's see. Daniel, how do you handle a buyer that leaves your delivered work in revision because they're awaiting their team to see if they approve, but it shows as late on your end? Thanks, AP. This happens all the time. So first, I want to tell you, you are not alone. This happens to me all the time. This is what I do. If someone does that, I redeliver it. And I say, please just let me know. I'm not going anywhere. And if they keep putting it into revision, I let them know, say, hey, this is actually affecting my account. Please just let me know when you find out. Okay. And if they keep putting in revision, the truth of the matter is it usually actually doesn't affect your account in revision. Even though it says late, that's based off of your original delivery date. It's not based on the revision. The revision usually is like 3 days or something, but most of the times if it's in revision, you don't have to worry about it being late, but I don't like to keep my stuff in revision too long, okay? But it'll say late on your thing, but it's not, I know it's silly, but it's not going against you, okay? Good question, though. All right, Sean says, it can be so hard to really take that honest look and admit where I need to improve. But dang, yes, I need to kick my butt in gear. We all do. Absolutely. Molly. Hello, Molly. Hi, Anthony. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Hello. Hi, Molly. Just curious. Do you still get super lowball offers? If so, how do you handle them? All right, good question. So, I suppose it's relative, right? What lowball offer to me is now, and it might be to other people. So to me, a lowball offer now for me is people just wanting to pay the base price of what I charge. You know what I mean? So I currently charge $35 for 100 words is my base price. But there's very rare, I would say about 80 to 90% of all my jobs I do, at least commercial or broadcast rights are purchased. And most of the time they're purchased together. So like my average selling price is over $80 a job. So most of my work actually is more towards the $130 to $150 range per 100 words. So the lowball offer to me is like that. Or I do have people, and I had people actually yesterday. You know, it's interesting you mentioned that. Yesterday, I had 2 different YouTubers contact me asking me to do deals in bulk for videos, and I was like, no, but that's me. And they wanted to lowball those offers, you know, to make them lower than what I charge. So now, this is a good question. So let me tell you what I do now, but what I did then and what I recommend you do. So now I will kindly let them know that my price is actually this, and I would love to work with them at the price that I charge. If they do not or give me a hard time, I block them right away. I just block them. I don't want to deal with the people anymore. I've been doing it too long. But when I first started, I accepted everything. Like literally, I accepted it all. And that's changed. Because thousands of jobs later, so I've done thousands of VOs, over 2,000 and some voiceovers on Fiverr. I've gotten tired of it. Right? I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I have enough business and enough repeat clients that I don't need to argue with them. However, when I was first starting out, I accepted 95% of all of it. The 5% I didn't accept was like things that were either I didn't feel comfortable doing or were so outrageous, you know, like they want 100,000 words for, you know, $50 or something. That's just, you know, but most of the stuff I actually took because I was thinking to myself, the reviews I got was more valuable at the time than the money. By the way, on a side note, keep those reviews. When you get a review, copy and paste it. They're your reviews. You can use them on your website. You can use them anywhere. Okay, those are your reviews. They're not Fiverr reviews. They're your reviews. Okay, so make sure you copy and paste your reviews on a side note. But I think for me, I took everything when I first started because I was trying to build up business and build up my account. And I recommend you look at it this way. If you are not busy, you don't have work, and you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, take the work. Now, I know some people will be like, oh, don't do that. And some people will be like, yes, do that. And there's always people on opposite sides of the fence. But, you know, I try to put blinders on in my business, and I try to do what felt right for me. Like I tried to have my own code, if you will. And my code to myself was always like my number one job was to make sure I was always working. Even if it was for a couple of dollars or a couple $100, I always wanted to work. You know, I didn't want to feel like, okay, I'm not working. I don't have any jobs. You know what I mean? Even if I was doing, you know, 500 words for $5 or $10, I was working. I was being paid to do voiceover, you know, or I was doing a book at $100 per finished hour as opposed to, you know, $350 or $400 is what I charge now per finished hour. But at that time, I was charging $50 per finished hour, $100 per finished hour. I just wanted to work. So I accepted a lot of things. If you don't want to accept the lowball offers, that's fine. Like I said, do what I do now. Politely say thank you for your offer. Here's what I'm actually charging. If you'd like to work with me, that's great. If you come to an agreement in the middle and you're fine with that, that's good. But if not, and they start to argue with them, just block them. You don't deal with it because I promise you, if you enter into an agreement with them to do their work, they are never going to be happy. Someone who wants to pay you and refuses, like wants to argue with you about price and stuff, they're never going to be happy. Like think about yourself. When I go buy something on Fiverr too, like I give tips. I pay full price. I know what it means to work on Fiverr or to work in a gig economy. And I have no problem paying because I know what the job entails to do stuff. But there's people who don't want to do that, and that's fine. But you don't have to work with them, and you can block them. So I block them because I'm like, I don't want to deal with them because then I don't want them to go buy a gig from me and me get like, you know, a bad review from them. Because what's worse than a lowball offer or working with someone who gives you not as much money is a bad review, because the reviews never go away. Everything else goes away. Like, if you have a 2-hour response time instead of 1-hour response time, that goes away. If you have a late order, like you delivered something late, that goes away. It's all a running tab, right? It all goes away. But not the reviews. The reviews never go away. Now, do they average out to be better? Yes. Like if you got a 4-star or 3-star on something, and then you've got 100 5-stars, it averages out. You know what I mean? It's not one like it average, and then once it gets past a certain point, which Fiverr doesn't tell you, it'll average up to 5 stars. So even though, because I have a couple of 4-star up 4 and 4 5 4 3 4 7 4 8 stars kind of thing, and I have a 5-star review because there's so many 5-star reviews. So it is, yeah. So but that's what I do now, and it's what I did then. And what I recommend you do is have your own code. Don't listen to other people. If you believe someone is going to torture you, follow your gut and block them and move on with your life. I promise you, if you're just starting out, it may feel like you're never going to get another job again. And you gotta, like, when I first started, I thought someone like would contact me for a job. I'd be like, this is it. This is the only opportunity I get to get a job. And I felt that way. So I was like, I gotta get it. Don't go away. You don't say that, but you're like, don't go away. Please just accept the job. I'll do it. I don't know if you guys feel that way. But I felt that way when I started because I didn't want to lose the work because I was afraid that I would never get more work. But the more I've done this, I realized that was normal for me at that time because I had no other work I'd done. But now I know there's so much work out there that it's okay if you don't mix with someone and you don't work with them. There's plenty of other work out there for you. Now, when you're starting, I will say that part of your success will be determined on how well you can negotiate. And I know people are like, I don't want to sell. And then I know people have talked about, especially when it comes to commercial and broadcast rights, and I know we're not talking about this on this episode, about whether to combine things and prices. But I always thought one of my strong suits was at least being able to negotiate with people to say, hey, listen, especially when I was starting out, I know you don't want to pay this price. I don't want to pay your price, but maybe we can meet in the middle. Could we meet in the middle? And you'd be surprised. Someone says, I'm only paying you $5. Well, maybe, and you're trying to charge 15. Well, clearly the obvious answer is $10. Maybe we can reach an agreement at $10, right? And there. So do you see what I mean? So it's better than $5. It's not as great as your $15, but at least you met in the middle and both of you seem happy. And if both of you accept that, it's a good place to be, right? Because you were able to get more, they were able to save some money. Right, it's a win-win. But if you're going to work with people who are angry with you because you won't accept dirt for payment, they're never going to be happy. I've learned that the hard way. You work your butt off for them, and then they'll leave a bad review, and you'll be like, and it was only $5. So protect yourself, but get the work. It's like, I know, it's like, which one is it? But like I said, I tried to get as much as I could when I started, which has led me to now. If I had a different journey, I wouldn't be here with you. So I had to be honest. I hope that was a long answer, but I thought that was a great question, and I'm sure a lot of people have it. All right, let's see. Where are we at here? We've got Molly Charles, I've had conflicting advice about... Oh, my hat's falling off. I've had conflicting advice about having just one gig as a no level. Do you believe we should blow them all up? What? I've had conflicting advice about having just one gig... Oh, as a no level. Okay. Do you believe we should blow them all up or just make that one just the best? Okay. I love the idea of just blow them all up. I get what you mean. All right. Now... I know there's all kinds of, there's other people who say, you should have one gig and focus on it. That's never been me. That's never what I recommend. It's not all the people I've coached and helped become top rated sellers. That's not my advice. My advice is if you are a level 0 seller, you're just starting off, get all 7 gigs up. Remember, you get 7 just starting off, you get 10 as a level 1, you get 20 as a level 2, and you get 30 as a top rated seller. If, for example, and I'll say this to you, Charles, if, for example, you have one of your gigs up, and you're making tons of money and you're happy, don't put any more up. But if you got 1 gig up and you're not making anything or you want to make more, I personally think it would be folly to not put up another gig, right? To not put up another gig. And think of it this way, and I want you to shift your mindset. one gig cannot fit all. Now you might think, well, that's not true. I can do all if I just put voiceover. Right, but remember, we're dealing with 21,000 gigs on Fiverr. So if you were going and I said, here's 21,000 products for you to search for, what are you looking for? That's the question you have to consider. And where I'm going, right? What are you looking for? Which means that you have to think the same way as a seller. What are people looking for? They might not be looking for male or female voiceover. They might be looking for IVR, a voice message. So they're not even going to find your 1 gig because you're not promoting that you also do voice message and IVR when there's people who are having an entire gig with a title, with all their tags, with all their description. Everything is geared around phone message, phone system, and IVR voicemail. Do you understand where I'm going with this? So you can't possibly, in an ocean of we were talking about this today with overcrowdedness, right? You can't possibly expect 1 gig, 1 fishing line, 1 piece of bait is going to attract every single fish. We know that's not true. You're a fisherman or whatever. It doesn't work that way. So I'm passionate about this because I know a lot of people are like, don't do that, don't do this. I'm more of a person that believes in why wouldn't I, like, why not? You know, what, you know, and if you can get more work by putting out more gigs, that's great. Now, the caveat is, will 1 gig maybe rise to the top? Might be, exactly, which is, again, why you got to keep putting more gigs up to find the cracks and the holes. Does that make sense? You got to put more up or you're never going to know which one works and which one doesn't. But I hope you understand about what I was saying before. And I think if we all look at it that way, hopefully it lays that idea to rest about should I put up more gigs, right? And the question is, when someone goes on to Fiverr and they're like, holy crap, 21,000 gigs, well, what am I looking for? I mean, that just solidifies it. If they're looking for a conversational, deep male voice, and yours says American voiceover, well, that's great. But there's a lot of people who have put up separate gigs that are targeting that very specific niche. They're the ones who are going to be found, not your 1 gig. Does that make sense? So don't be afraid to put up more gigs targeting specific places. If you go on Fiverr, their little purposes section, they have 9 purposes. I call them categories, but they call them purposes. Like, you know, video narration, podcasting, IVR and phone system, character voiceovers. They've got TV, they've got radio, they've got impersonation and dubbing. They have, I said phone system and IVR. So, I mean, they have these different ones, video game, and you could even use those to create the different gigs. So I would recommend putting up as many as you can until you're happy with the amount of business you have. I have up about 11 and I have as much business as I want. I can't handle any more, literally. So I don't put up any more gigs. If I needed more work, I would put up another gig. Okay, good question. All right, Mark, loving your vids from the UK. Good to have you, Mark. Awesome. Voiceover Angela. Hello, Angela. Earl Hall. Hello, my friend. It is great to see you. Earl Hall, welcome. I knew Earl so long ago. Earl was there. He was one of the very first videos I ever watched when I was thinking about starting my voiceover business. So welcome, Earl. It's great to have you. Longtime friend. It's good to see you back. Let's see. Daniel, shout out to Earl Hall. Yeah. Flyer here. Eric, for lowball offers, I think that this is the price you pay just to get to 100 5-star ratings. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's true. I always thought, what's worth more? Is it the rating right now? Or is it the review? Or is it the money? When you're first starting out, it's the reviews. And again, hold on to those reviews. You can copy them and paste them. They're your reviews. Michael, what's up, my man? I'm trying to rehabilitate a gig that I've neglected. I just overhauled the whole gig, demos, pics, copy, SEO, etc. What other things would you suggest I do to get some traction on that gig? So remember when you're trying to get impressions, right? So impressions, so there's three things to think about. Impressions, it's the title, it's the tags, it's the description. That's what you're looking at, impressions. If you're getting lots of impressions but no clicks, then we need to work on your thumbnail, possibly your pricing, right? Because if you think about it, if your people are seeing you but they're not clicking on you, that means they're looking at your picture and they're looking at your price. And one of those two things are not meshing. So you need to work on new thumbnails, possibly changing your price. But if you're getting impressions and clicks and you're not getting orders, then we really need to think about your demo as well as your copy, your offering in general, right? Your overall offering, your demo primarily. So those are the ways that, so Michael, I would say to you, and you said, I've just overhauled the whole gig, demos, picks, copy, SEO, etc. So first thing I would ask Michael is how long ago did you overhaul all of it? You know, it does take a little bit of time. Do you know what I mean? And also think about this too, as a gig somewhere, it's going to take a little bit of time to grow. My recommendation to you is great, overhaul it, do everything that you know that works. So we talked about it and then move on to the next thing. Right? And don't be afraid to go in there every week and tweak a little bit here. If you notice I'm not getting as many impressions, change a tag, try a new tag. Does that make sense? Awesome. Good question, Michael. Jeremy, what's up? It has been a while. It's good to see you. And I keep looking at it. You got a new haircut recently. Well, it might not be recently, but I saw on one of your pictures. So it's good to have you, man. Let's see. Fly here. I found Anthony through Earl Hall's videos. Absolutely. It's been a while, Earl. Earl, you got to call me. Call me or text me. Let's see. Bobby. Good to have Bobby. Getting so much spam on Fiverr. So, Bobby, I don't know how long you've been on Fiverr, but that happens. It happens. It sucks. They are working. I mean, every platform like Upwork, and Upwork has done the thing where now they make you, not only you got to give them a copy of your driver's license, I think you have to do that with Fiverr too, but they actually make you call them. You actually have to talk online, like you got to talk over you got to talk on like FaceTime with an actual employee to make sure that you're real, you're not scamming. So it's a tough thing to deal with. A lot of people struggle, and just keep the faith and keep pushing forward. Block them. If you get a scam call, block them. Don't just let it go. Block it. Don't ignore it. Block it. Okay. Joe Ricky, what's up? Good to have you from Periscope on Twitter. Good to have you, Joe. Bobby, back on Facebook, been having tons of success on Upwork for being a noob. Yeah, it's funny because we were talking about right when I was first starting, a lot of people are having good success on Upwork now too. And remember, Upwork's making that shift, right? Upwork is making that shift, adding gigs. So if you've not gone on Upwork yet and put up gigs, I mean, they basically, I have nothing against Upwork because I use Upwork too, but they kind of ripped off Fiverr completely. Even if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But if you've not put up your gigs, you could literally copy and paste your gigs from Fiverr onto Upwork. It's insane. Now, Upwork still has some work to do with their gig offerings. Like you can't show, like people can't listen to your demo and they can't they're just doing the packages right now. So if you're new to Fiverr or you haven't been around for too long on Fiverr used to only allow gig packages, right? You could do one package or up to three. For the longest time, you could only do one package. And then they switched it to three packages. And then for voiceover artists only, no one else on Fiverr does this, but only for voiceover artists, they allow us to do word count and not packages. Like, for example, if you go to audiobook production on Fiverr, you'll notice that it's different there. But at the time, that wasn't the way it was. Well, right now on Upwork, that's how it is now. They have three packages. They don't have words. So, they're still working on the stuff for the voiceover artists. But still, if you get on there, I'm sure there's way more now, especially because I've been telling people to get on there. But it's when I got on 2 weeks ago, there's only two. So here's the thing. There was 268 people who had put up gigs on Upwork for voiceover. 268. And I was just talking about 21,000 on Fiverr. So take some time, work, do your stuff on Fiverr, but also get up on Upwork. Okay. So that's something too. But I'm sorry. I know there was more to the question. Fiverr has been a pain so far. Lots of clicks, impressions, new gigs for each skill, but no one's feeling it. Guess I'm just good at selling myself with Upwork proposals. Okay. All right. So Bobby, I don't know how long you've been on Fiverr. And I will tell you, and I tell this to people in all honesty and truth. The people I work with, all my mentor students and the people I coach one-on-one right now, I'm working with them one-on-one to help them. When I first started, I didn't have that. So my first year on Fiverr, I made $800 total. My first year. And I think a lot of that money probably came from a book I did towards the end of that year, right? I made next to nothing. Now, some of my students, within the first year they work with me, they're making, $5,000 to $10,000 a month on Fiverr. That's some of them. Some of them are making between $1,000 to $3,000. Everybody's different. But when I first started, I tell you that story because that I made $800 over the first year, right? Is because now I make six figures on Fiverr, darn close to it, or more and less. It varies from year to year. But that's not what I did when I started. So don't beat yourself up. And it's not a get rich overnight scheme. None of this is get rich quickly, right? Or get rich in general. It's a business. So it's going to take time to build your credibility with people, to build a recurrent. What you don't understand about top-rated sellers or people who've been on the platform for a while, and the reason why they show up so much, you wonder why they just be getting so much new business. Part of that's true, but also part of it is because we have so many repeat clients. It takes time to get repeat clients, right? It doesn't just happen overnight. It takes you time. So give yourself a break. It's going to take you time. Upwork is cool because you can submit proposals just like anybody else, right? So that's why the marketing plan, the marketing course I have out, the voiceover marketing 101, the first, it's a 3-phase plan and it's laid out, but the first phase is multiple platforms with a map and roadmap on how to navigate each one of them. And I think it's important to not just throw, your hat in all in one, but make sure though that each platform you do get on, you put everything in. So, but anyways, Bobby, give yourself a break. I'm sure you're doing great, but keep putting up as many gigs as you can on Fiverr. Use some of these things we've been talking about. All right, let's see. Famicom Mike, I'm glad you're saying this because some people will exploit newcomers, and happened to me almost on Fiverr in July. Yeah, you're talking about the scams. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's so easy to just get sucked in, but honestly, I can tell you for certain, if you have a bad feeling about something, just block it. Fiverr put that there for a reason so that you don't have to deal with that. But they can't control it because they don't know if someone's bothering you. So you have to be the end, the ultimate decision maker at the end and block it. If you are being bullied on Fiverr, go to Fiverr and send them a message and put in the message that this is a terms of violation. This is a violation of the terms of service. Okay? And there's a bullying clause there, and they take that stuff seriously. But block it, and just move on with your life. I promise you there's way more business out there than one mean person. All right, cool. Let's see. Nika. Hi, Nika. Hey, how's it going? It's going pretty good. I was just wondering, what is your opinion about delivering the work early? I mean, if you finish job 2 to 3 days earlier, should you deliver it right away or wait until 1 day is left? I deliver it right away. And I'll tell you why. Because part of the algorithm on Fiverr, all right, you get a boost the more money that goes through your account. So the faster you put money through your account, the faster that boost goes. Okay. Now, I know that some people said, hey, I wait until this time to make it almost like I'm actually having money go through, evenly. But remember, Nika, and I'm going to say this to you because I don't know how much business you're getting. But I try on this channel, especially on Fiverr Friday, to tell you about my experiences when I first started. Because unless you're a top-rated seller and you're doing the business I'm doing right now, or you're looking at other top-rated sellers, your business is not like theirs. And you have to approach your business differently. I did, all right? I had to approach I don't know why my hat's having a problem today. I'm very like a wobblehead doll. Bobblehead doll. I'm in a different place in my business. So, and there's a lot of people, and I know what you're talking about because I've heard that before too. People might say, hey, do this or do that because of this. And that's why at least I try to tell you what I did when I first started, because what I did when I first started, and as I learned and I grew, but the point is I wouldn't be where I am now unless I did everything then. Interestingly enough, for two and a half years, I charged $5. That was what I charged, $5 for like 150 words. Okay, for 2.5 years. And then I got a seller success coach. Then I became a top-rated seller after I started raising my prices. But here's the thing. I would have never gotten the seller success coach. I would have never become a top rated seller and got all the reviews if I hadn't built my business off of $5 jobs. Now I don't ever, now I've not charged $5 forever, it feels like. And like I said, most of my jobs are $100, $150 for 100 words now. All right. And you know, I get 10, right now I get about 10 or 15 jobs a day. So I'm saying this to you so that you understand that you might be in a different place than where you heard this from somebody. My recommendation is as soon as you can do a job, do it. And I'm going to tell you why too. Because not only do you get a review, but every single customer or client that you work with, they get a secondary survey from Fiverr that you don't see. And that survey directly plays into the algorithm for you as well. So if they put in the service was very fast and quick, that's going to give you a boost. Why? Because Fiverr wants to work with freelancers who are putting business through quickly. Do you know what I mean? So I always say don't try to game the system that way because I've never had success with that. All right. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. Dana says a good negotiating is where both parties are unhappy. Yeah. Molly, spot on. Thank you so much. Absolutely, Molly. Charles says, I like the fish analogy. Absolutely. Miriam says, Earl. Sean, let's see. Laugh out loud. My day is always made when we get the awaiting hello, Angela. Oh, stop. All right. Zach, Angela was a student of mine for a whole year, and now I don't get to see because we're done. We finished our training, and she's doing so well. And she's actually starting her own. She's going to be doing her own coaching and stuff, and her own website as well. So I'm very proud of her, and she's done amazing on Fiverr. She's a top-rated seller now too, and does a wonderful job. So it's the only time I get to say hello to Angela. Okay, Sean. Jeez. Zach, happy Friday. I also learned about you from Earl Hall. Awesome. Good to see you, Zach. Chelsea, I'm kicking myself for deleting a gig instead of repurposing it. Yeah, you know, Chelsea, the deleting gig thing is an interesting because I deleted a gig. I made a decision in my business to delete and to stop doing. It's interesting because I put it back up and now I do it again. But at the time, I had grown my voiceover business. This is an interesting thing on Fiverr. And you might run into this. So I guess it's cool that you kind of said this because it sparked something in my mind. But basically, I'd grown my business to a point where I was getting the majority of my work through audiobooks. And I was not getting the majority of my work through my regular gigs or my other gigs, right? It was all audiobook work. So it was interesting because all my numbers were skewed. I love data. And you would see like I had this nice looking amount of money I was making. And I had a good average selling price, but yet the number of jobs I was doing was very small. So here's a little side note too. If you want to judge, and if you like the people who work with me know what I'm saying here, I always judge the health of your business not by actually the revenue you're making, but the amount of jobs you're doing. Because to me, you know, it's kind of like bulk work, and this is how I feel about voiceover in the job. To me, it's the bulk work. It's the work that you're getting the voiceovers, because you can always manipulate the price. We can always raise the price. We can lower the price. We can negotiate. What we can't do, all right, is change right off the bat how many number of voiceovers you're doing. Right. So I always wanted to do more. So when I was kicking around a while ago, years ago, a couple years ago, and my audiobook gig was doing the most, I had these when I say high numbers, $2,000-$3,000 a month. And it was all based on 2 or 3 audiobooks, and then maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 small voiceovers. And the data was severely skewed because it looked like I was doing a lot more, but yet I really was only doing very little. Okay, so I actually ended up deleting a period of time. I had to delete that gig. Plus, I created a gig. For example, many of you know I do Fiverr gig reviews. You find those. I do them on a VO's Journey now, but I originally set that up on Fiverr. And what happened was I set it up on Fiverr, and I put it in the business section because I didn't know where to put it. And I posted it in the Facebook group, a VO's Journey Facebook group, right? And we had lots of people. It was great. It sold great. So many people wanted gig reviews, and it was fantastic. All of a sudden, I was getting 20, 30,000 impressions, right, a month on that gig. But here's the problem. All the impressions were going to people who were looking for product reviews. Okay? No one on Fiverr itself was actually looking for gig reviews. So what happened is that my percentage of people who were actually purchasing my gig based off the impressions was so low that it started to tank my account. And I couldn't change that. So you can change so when you first do a gig, okay, and you put the purpose of where your gig is going to be, then so it's a category, it's a main category, and then it's a purpose. You know what I'm talking about on the first page when you set up your gig. There's your title, and then right underneath that, you've got to pick your the category, and then you got to pick the purpose, right? And there's many of purposes, and there's 2 or 3 categories that you could possibly fit into. You can't change the category. You can change the purpose, but you can't change the category once you set it up. So I couldn't move it out of business. So basically what happened is that it was tanking my business. My numbers were going down. I was losing rankings because the algorithm was seeing that the percentage of people buying from me was not meshing based on the number of impressions they were giving me. So in their mind, they were showing me for all these people, but yet I was not selling enough. Does that make sense? So because of that, it was hurting my overall account. And this can happen to you too. So I ended up having deleted that one, and I deleted the audiobook gig. In retrospect, I wish I never deleted the audiobook gig and I just deleted the other one, but I did delete both. And for about 3 months, I don't know if you remember, this was January, February, March of this year, my business was at 50%. I basically took a 50% hit, and I learned a big lesson to try to repurpose my stuff if I can. Okay. But I made a mistake and I had to deal with it, and I cut it off. Here's another little tip we're just all about tips today, right? If you got to make a decision in your business, make a decision and go for it. Don't wait. I see a lot of people wondering, well, should I change this? Should I do that? Just take a hard turn. Part of us being a small business is we can pivot quickly. So anyways, so I understand what you're talking about. Sometimes you got to do it, but sometimes if you can repurpose it, I would recommend you do that. Let's see, Dana, if you drive traffic to your gig from outside sources, does Fiverr reward those gigs with better rankings since you're bringing traffic to them? So Dana, this is a great question. I've tried everything. I've paid for ads to drive traffic to Fiverr. Okay. And every time I've done that, I've actually lost business. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, again, just what I was telling you, I'm glad you asked that, because it's the same thing as what I told you before, basically. Because of the fact that the algorithm looks at how many people they show your stuff to, and then they take a percentage of how many people then click on your stuff and then how many people order from you. Now, I don't have a key to the closed doors. I don't know what their percentages are. I know for me and my percentages, what works for me, and we've talked about it before, right? A 4 to 8% percentage from click to impressions is what I like to keep myself in between. And then basically like a 1 to 3% percent from orders to clicks. And then basically from orders to impressions, you're looking at, if you can get a 0.01%, that's a good day, right? That's a good thing, because, but anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that, what was the point? What did you ask me again? Was that the traffic? Was that if you drive lots of traffic to your gig and they don't buy from you, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So if you drive traffic and they do buy from you, that's great. But if you don't, it could end up hurting you. What happened to me is I didn't drive and this was years ago, but and I tried everything on Fiverr. I've tried it all. That's why when you ask something, I'm like, I tried it. Okay. I found that I got a lot of stuff from India, because my targeting too, because then you go into Facebook ads and you need to target specific places. All right. And specific people. At the time, I didn't know what I was doing. Right. So I was driving all sorts of traffic and none of them were buying. So my impressions were huge, but no one was buying. So then my whole account started to tank. So, I don't do that anymore, but hopefully that answers your question. Earl Hall, thank you so much. $4.99. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's, I guess that what are they're called? What is it? A live? It's what is it? A super chat. I think it's a super chat. Thank you, Earl. I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much for that. Means the world to me. Thank you. Bobby, let's see. Yes, that was an interesting. Bobby, thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you again, Earl, my man. Remember, you better call me, Earl. Let's see. Mike, I published a gig last night and had to take an English grammar test to publish my gig. Interesting. Huh. I've never had to do that. Now, they do have an English grammar test. I've never taken it because I was always worried that they literally, I would fail. Not that I would fail, but I saw a bunch of people would take that English test and get like a 60 or 70. I hate to be one of those people, I'm like, so, but yeah, I don't know if you have to take one though, but if you did, hopefully you did well. Let's see. Bobby, very new. Just about a month, 1 gig so far for podcast, music, and voiceover. Okay, cool. So keep putting them up. And it's okay. Listen, it's going to take you time. Give yourself a break. All right? Give yourself a break. For everybody that you see, makes, all this money, there's so many of us who are not making all that money, and we're working very hard to get to that point. So, just keep your blinders on and keep moving forward. Run your race. Do the best you can, like we were talking about. Let's see. You've been very helpful in the journey. Thanks for answering these questions and making this awesome content. Absolutely, Bobby. Thank you. You are welcome. Let's see. Hey, Anthony, you have been the biggest help in my growth as a VA. Fiverr is going really well as a newbie. And I know there will be an inevitable dip. When would you say it comes back? Level 1. Well, thank you. First off, thank you, Christina. I really appreciate that. I find that actually, as we were talking about it, going into January, February, and March, usually those are slower months in general for marketing. And remember, we're B2B businesses, unless you're doing something like meditation, which, by the way, if you don't have a meditation gig up, I highly recommend you get a meditation gig up. Meaning that, because remember, meditation in my mind is one of the only places where you can do a B2C type of, as a voiceover artist right now, besides Santa Claus or things like Santa Claus or Mrs. Claus or elves or something when it's a holiday. But we usually sell to other businesses, right? And think of it that way, Christina, when we go to businesses, it's all cyclical, right? Advertising and marketing is cyclical. We are hired that way. Now, it's cool because with Fiverr, we're open to the world. So, the world is going to be different. It's going to be different times in different places. But again, because of it is overcrowded on Fiverr, as I said earlier, right? You really got to carve out your niche. And that's why I think meditation is a great place. And what I'm getting with this is that you want to definitely cover your basis so that you actually don't, fall to the wayside, if you will, meaning like, you have something in the works in case one thing slows down, another thing comes back. So if you experience that dip, to make sure that you've got something set up to where you can keep working. But in all fairness, usually January through March, I find are slower months. Okay. I hope that's what you were asking. I think, when would you say it comes back up? Level 1. I'm not sure. I hope that's what you were asking. So I hope that's what you're asking. Let's see. Tim says, I'm creating my first gig. Demo is good, but I consider it a work in progress in perpetuity. My real concern is the description. As a total noob, can you suggest honest ways to hype myself? Absolutely. So I love this question. So listen, everybody. When I first started, I literally was like, who am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? I don't have any work. I've never done work. I haven't worked for Ford. Like at the time, I didn't work for Ford. I didn't have a Mercedes or a BMW. I hadn't worked for these companies or Rolex. I hadn't done any of this stuff yet. Right now, it's easy for me to say, hey, look at it. You can check out the stuff I did for Mercedes or I did for Rolex or I did for BMW. You can look at all that stuff for Netflix. But at the time, I didn't have that. So this is what I recommend you do, and I still do it to this day. The greatest experience you have is you. People don't want to work with they want to work with real people. They don't want to work with fake people. They want to work with you because of your experiences. We are the sum of our experiences. And if you can effectively tell people, listen, I worked in construction for 20 years. My job was to, take directions, assess a job and work together as a team to build this thing. Me as a voiceover artist, that's what I'm going to do to help you. All right. I can relate. I understand what it's like to work with a variety of different people to deliver a message the way you are looking for to your people, to relate to your people. Remember, you're Yoda, they're Luke Skywalker. Your job is to make them the star. Take your experiences. And remember, I think it's better to talk about your experiences outside of voiceover, because your experiences as a real human being is what matters here. We live in an age where we don't want to we don't want to deal with fakeness anymore. We want to deal with real people, because being over the internet, we want reality. We can't stand canned stuff. I can't, and I know you can't either. So we want real. So be real. Say, hey, I was a teacher. I've been a teacher for the last 7 years, and everything I do is about communication. Okay. Or, I've worked in a restaurant. I've been a waiter or a waitress, and everything I do is about talking to different people and getting across a message. And this is why I think I'm excellent choice for you. No one else on this platform has my experiences, because they don't. Use your experiences as your greatest asset. That's what you can do. And I recommend that to everybody I work with. Okay. And because a lot of times you can't put down, hey, I did work with XYZ. Well, that's great. But in the end, how does that really help them? I think your copy is one of the single most important game changers that you can do. Okay. But use your own personal experiences and do it this way. I've done this. And because of this and this, I can bring this and this to you, and I can help you in your business and reach your clients and do XYZ. Remember, it's about them. It's about you making them the star. All right. Right now, my job is to help make you guys the star. Your job is to help make your client and customer the star. So approach it from that. Your sum of who you are and your experiences goes to them. Does that make sense? Hopefully that helps. So that should help you from this moment on. You should never have an issue writing copy ever again if you follow that kind of mindset. All right. Good question. Let's see. Nika, thank you. Good Lord, Earl Hall. $19.99. Thank you, my friend. My goodness. Now I got to find you and take you out to lunch. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Sent you my number on Facebook Messenger. Awesome, Earl. I'll message you afterwards, my friend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Sean, I said super chat. Oh, super chat right before you said it. It was like you heard me. So basically what a super chat is, and I'm learning this new too, is that if you are so inclined to donate money to the cause, you can do it through a super chat, and it just helps people, content creators doing live videos, to be able to do more live videos and afford to bring the content to you. So thank you so much, Earl, and I really appreciate it, my friend. I think the super chat is it's on YouTube. I think there's a button somewhere that you can click on it. But I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. Todd says, hey, Anthony, do you recommend coupons on Fiverr, like a freebie to drive sales? Oh, that's interesting. So, of course, Fiverr doesn't allow you, like, they don't give you something that you could do to do a coupon, but you can always run a sale. Listen, you determine what you do. You determine what you do, and you could do your own sale, I guess. I haven't seen anybody doing it, which could be good or bad. So then my recommendation always, and this is a big thing for me. If you have an idea, try it out. That's why I love all the different gigs you can offer, because you can try it out. So try it out. If you have something that you want to put out there and try, like a coupon or a percentage off, go for it. Does that make sense? Yeah, good question. I haven't seen that before, so it might be good, but I'm not sure how you would. I don't know if you would put that in like a gig title, or you would put that, hey, I'm running a special right now, like in your gig description. Oh, you can do that. I have done that before. Oh, here's a tip to do that. Do that with your buyer requests. When you send out a buyer request, send out something that says, hey, I'm running a Christmas special right now, 25% off. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's $5, you can't really, but you can say, I'm including commercial rights for, you can do that. I do that all the time, by the way. It's a great sales tactic and always running a special. Okay. So, run a special. It helps you stand out. So make sure you stand out. That's a great way to do it. So good question, Todd. I think it'd be easier to do it with buyer request than actually in your gig, but give it a shot. Let's see. Famicom Mike, I had to take it to publish my Bible reading gig. Okay, interesting. I passed it and felt a bit insulted as an American taking it. Interesting. I don't know. Maybe that's something new they're doing. I don't know, but that's an interesting thing. Let's see. AJ voiceovers. How does one get a Fiverr success coach? Invite only. I imagine. Allie with Wolf Creek Audio. Oh, hey, Allie. Good to have you. Okay, so the Fiverr Seller Success Program and they've beefed it up recently, but basically it is an invite-only type of thing, and you can't find a lot of information about it. Basically, it was originally set up to help Fiverr pros. All right. And basically a Fiverr Pro is you just have to, it's like an application, and you fill it out and they take a look at all your stuff and decide whether you do a Fiverr Pro. And Fiverr Pro, they just get their own special marketing. It starts, you can't do stuff lower than $100. Has to start at $100. And basically these seller success coaches were people who Fiverr hired and trained to help the people get their gigs looking better, just to boost their count overall. I had never heard of it, and I was a level 2 seller, and this was early 2019, and I was contacted and said, hey, you've been selected to be in the seller success program. And I was like, at first I thought it was a scam. I was like, what is this crap? Because they're like, let's set up a meeting, right? And you're like, no. But anyways, I looked around for it. I couldn't find anything, but I did find a brief thread on Fiverr on the forum. So I was like, well, maybe it is legit. So I took the meeting, and turned out it was very legit. And my first Fiverr Seller Success Coach was really awesome. He helped me go from, level 2 seller to $5 up to, basically tripled my income. And just basically from the confidence of saying, hey, you can raise your prices, you can do this. And I asked him how I was chosen, and he said, because we monitor everybody's stuff, and you have such a high number of people reviewing your work and leave such great comments, and your surveys are so good that we decided to work with you and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. He left, and there was another seller success coach, and I think his name's Chris. I worked with him a little bit, and it's really great. Now, I have to admit, I disagree with some of the things the seller success coaches do, and it's funny because they email me. I email them actually now. It's funny how that works, but they mainly email me, and and it's okay. I agree, disagree with them on some things based on the algorithm or whatever, but they're really fantastic. They've done a really wonderful job to help a lot of people. I've had a lot of people I've worked with, get into the program, but it is only by invite. Yeah. So, but it's great. It's great. They're just there to help you with all your stuff and take a look, because they can see all the numbers on the back end that we can't see. So, let's see. Holy mackerel, Michael, thank you so much, man. $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. You're keeping me going here. You're like, go. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir, for that. Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm publishing, what is it? A Hanukkah greeting gig, and Fiverr is located in Israel. Ironically, laugh aloud. I think that's great. Mike, I think that's a fantastic thing to publish. I really do. Michael, again, thank you so much. We got to catch up too, my friend. It's been too long since we've had a session together. So thank you so much, Michael. Let's see. Andy B, how do I avoid using an actual photo of myself? I do have a face for radio. Do you recommend embellishing when creating my profile? Now, why do you, I guess my question is, why do you not want to do a picture of yourself? You don't have to. You could have a variety of reasons. It might be security reasons. You might just not want to. That's fine. But I will say first, I'm gonna say one thing and I'll say the next. The first thing is that it's by far people are more willing to hire you if you have a picture of yourself because they want to see who you are. Ironically, right? You say I have a face for radio. I remember that. Ironically, no one ever sees our face when we do a voiceover. You know what I mean? Like when the client's listening to it. I mean the client is. However, the people hiring us, don't ever forget, it is still about them connecting with who we are. That's why when I was telling you about the copy, it's important for you to tell people who you are. Okay, what you believe in, where you come from. All right, so just think of it that way. So I really would consider getting a. Now I do work with some people who have done a caricature. So you can actually go on Fiverr and give them a picture. There's some people on Fiverr who do it and do a caricature. I recommend, if anything, I recommend that. Like get a picture of you and do a caricature of you. Have a picture on your profile of you, but your gigs, you could do maybe a caricature. I've had some, if you really don't want to do a picture of yourself, I've had some people with good success on doing a caricature of themselves. Okay, so at least it's, a cartoon version of you, but it's still you. Does that make sense? But I do recommend something that or whatever you do, you've got to at least make sure that people can recognize you. The reason why I like my picture so much is showing people my pictures because they'll recognize me now because I put it everywhere. Ironically, when I first started, I was so afraid to put anything online, like to put my picture online, to do a video, to even do anything like I'm doing right now. And Earl was a big help in helping me get past that, actually. And now it's what I do every single day, all day, and it's my life. But sometimes you just got to get past that. All right, let's see. Dana, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Got to get on the action. Your free content is worth 1,000 times more. Much appreciated. Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys, thank you so much for everything. Andy, I think you said I have not completed the profile for ACX, Fiverr, and Upwork due to the sticking points. Keep plugging it away. Keep plugging away, Andy. You'll get it. Dana, thank you again so much for the $5. I really appreciate that. Todd says web developer gurus say no picture. Too much bias for the buyer. Strange how it is different. Whatever. I say whatever to them. You know what I mean? That's okay. I disagree. In our line of work, people are trying, they want to know where the voice is coming from. They want to feel connected to us, even though because think of it this way. If I'm going to spend money to buy your voice, I'm just going to blanketly send you money. I want to know what you look like, who you are. I want to feel like you're not scamming me, like you're a real person. Because remember, in my mind, I have to picture you telling me that message. So think of it this way. I have to picture you telling me your message. I got to picture it. I got to feel it. And I can't do that if I got to conjure up somebody that doesn't exist. I can do it if I see your face. Do you see what I mean? So that's how important your picture is. Interestingly enough, I also use a tactic on Fiverr where we put under the requirement section, right? We should do a video on this, but I'll do a video on this. But the requirement section, one of them, I ask people, hey, why did you work with me? Why did you choose me? Okay, as a question, because I love the feedback. And I do this with a lot of my students. And one of my students the other day was saying how they keep getting feedback saying that people are working with them because they like their picture, they look trustworthy. They feel like they can trust them. I mean, this is not stupid stuff, you guys. It really works. I promise you. So, that's something that you can think about as well. And it could be those web developers are talking about a different type of something. But anyways. Trevor, oh my goodness, $4.99. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for that super chat, Trevor. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. If he says Fiverr for Fiverr Friday. Thank you. Thanks for everything, AP. Thank you, Trevor. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Nick Field says, agreed on the caricature. I have one of those on my profile. Awesome. Rudy says, hey, Anthony, I'm late to the party. Some have reported that the action has slowed in these weeks. Is this normal? Absolutely. Absolutely. It goes up and down. And you have to think, too, that Fiverr, boy, we've been going for a long time. However, we're going to have to call it here. But Fiverr does things, right, where they're going to send out different messages or different advertisement to other places. They're going to, do all kinds of things here and there. And, you have to be prepared for them shifting around. We've all always suspected that they do a shift. Right? They do something here and they do something there and they shift that around. So it's kind of one of those situations where just be prepared for that. Don't fear it, but don't wait. If you're not getting a lot of business, don't wait. Okay. So that's something that I think, tackle it head on if you feel like you're not getting a lot of work, but don't stress like it's not normal. Okay. Some people use aliases on there. That's true. If I could go back, I would change my account is, if you want to know my account, it's ATPCRE. That's my actual name on Fiverr. The reason is that way is because when I set it up many years ago, I didn't know what I was doing. So I used like the first couple of letters of my email address at the time. I wish I could go back, and once you do that, you can't change it. I wish I could go back and put my name, because you'll know if you go to my gigs, you'll see my name is, I put my name in big red letters everywhere, like Anthony Pica, because I want people to know my name. So that's something I do, but I wish, I could go back and change it, but don't stress. Now, some people use aliases too because they have clients outside of Fiverr and they don't want those clients to see them on Fiverr. I'm not going to get into that. I personally am not ashamed of where I am, and I charge the same for everybody. You know what I mean? But I respect what everybody else is doing as well. So my recommendation to you about that is, please do what you need to do for your business, what's right for you. Okay. But in the end, if you charge the same across the board, it makes your life a whole lot easier. It was for me. All right, you guys, I'm going to have to go ahead and call it here. We've been doing this for almost an hour and 20 minutes. This is awesome. Let's see, Andy, I got a couple more things. Andy B, well, I'm always curious when someone who always worked behind the scenes is suddenly an on-camera spokesman. Do you think the general public feels the same? I'm always curious when someone who has worked behind the scenes is suddenly an on-camera spokesman. I'm not sure I understand. Do you think general public feels the same? I'm not sure, Andy, what you mean by that. I think for me, and I could be off about this, one of the big realizations I had to make for myself is I'm not that important to other people. And I mean that in kind, right? I mean, what I mean by that is I don't think people don't spend time thinking of me. Do you know what I mean? And this has not being mean to you or anything like that, but all these other people we don't know, they're not spending time thinking of you or me. So when we're getting ourselves out there right off the bat, it's unlikely they're going to see you anyways. You've got to put out so much stuff. And I think if you're into marketing or advertising like I am, I like to read articles and things about different studies and stuff. And there's a lot of studies that come up about as we go through 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21 stuff. It just continues to get more, like you have to get in front of people more and more. Even with email marketing, we know now the third, fourth, fifth, sixth email you send out with the follow-up, right? And even Mailshake did a thing recently about an article they wrote about them is that the fourth email you send, the fourth follow-up proves to be the most lucrative one now, right? Most people only ever send one. So, it's just taking more and more. So again, I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but I hope that helps. Don't be afraid of what the public thinks, be you, and let the people who relate to you come to you. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Earl says, if you were thinking about sending AP a super chat, do it now. Earl, you the man. Thank you so much. Rudy says, oh man, Earl Hall in the building. I watched your channel to help me get started as well. Thanks so much. Absolutely. Thank you, Earl. I appreciate that, you guys. Anthony, you're the best man. Watching your videos is really inspiring. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Earl. Thank you, Earl. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Michael. You guys are awesome. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. Please, if you get a chance, like, subscribe, share this with someone else. And if you want, down below, like I said, you'll get a chance to get into Fiverr Elite. There'll be a link below and then a link back at a VO's Journey. And as always, you guys have a great weekend. I will talk to you soon. All right. Peace.